What if I told you you could have a world-class coach helping you with whatever you need in business 24/7? You might be thinking, I can't afford a $30,000, $60,000 coach to help me with all of my business bottlenecks. What if I could show you a way to do it for free? So personally, I came in to work with a high-level influencer and found a bottleneck in their business where their sales staff couldn't take all the calls that were being booked. And they asked me, "Hey, can you just take some calls?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I've never done this before." And I started taking calls, and my success rate wasn't great. So I started researching the best sales Zoom callers in the world. And I put all of their knowledge into a knowledge base to bring me up to their level using AI. So the problem with most coaching programs is that you have to wait to get on a Zoom call to do a call review. And that was going to take way too long. And I needed results today. So I decided to use a project file inside ChatGTP to be able to get instant feedback on each one of my calls so I could level up on each one. Where most high ticket closing programs are going to fail is simply because you have to wait each week to get on a coaching call to do a call review. I couldn't wait that long. So I developed a project file to put all of my transcripts in. And then I had a programmed agent to be able to analyze those and give me the exact constructive feedback that that coach in the high ticket program would have given me anyway. But I could do it on a per call basis, hour by hour. So if you want to learn sales and you want to have instant feedback and also have access to a $30,000, $60,000 a year coach, this video is for you. All right, so we're in project files, and I've created these, um, which are shareable agents. But I really think that if this is for you, you really want to create it in a project to keep track of your progress and to help refine maybe an agent that you could eventually share with somebody. And inside files, like everything from my scriptless sales training with a coach that I did actually hire to help me with my abrasiveness. This was essentially all of the training material that they gave me. And I put that into a GPT. It took all of their transcripts and I said, let's create a knowledge based document from this and created scriptless sales. Then they had another training on objection handling. So I took everything that they gave me on objection handling and again asked in chat, I need to make this into a knowledge document. Let's take all these transcripts and make it into a knowledge document in markdown format. And so I did that with Mastery. I did that with their open wallet training too. And then you might recognize this one, the little black book of questions from Jeremy Miner, 7th level. I got his book and I put it into a knowledge base so that I could ask my agent to essentially, I want you to be just like Jeremy Miner and coach me on this. And it would be able to go and access exactly how Jeremy Miner would have coached me on certain things. I also did a DM masterclass with Andrew Cruzy, took all of his transcripts, all of his training, and put it in here too, so that if I mess up at some point in the conversation and I freeze and I don't close it, I'll have the DM to send them, the email to send them right afterwards that will poke at their pain, bring them back into the conversation of what would get them the transformation that they're looking for and help me close the deal. And this has actually taken my closing rate from a pretty pathetic like 15% to last 2 months, it was over 50%. Booked calls, I took 44 calls last month and I closed 33 using this system. So the first one that I'm going to show you how to create a knowledge-based document. This was a training that I took back in February, and I implemented this training into DM setting and did $10,000 in revenue generation that month that I started with this training. So let me show you how I did it. So whether it's a YouTube transcript, doesn't matter how you get the transcript, you just need the transcript. I'm going to grab this one out of school right here, come down here in a community that I belong to, expand it, and I'm just going to copy the entire transcript here. Of course, it's a lot easier to do on YouTube. You just click a button. All right, copy. All right. Now we're just going to come back over here, start a new chat. Start a new chat. We'll come in here to O3 just because we want some reasoning. And I'm going to vibe code this real quick. I need you to act as a professional knowledge base document creator. I'm going to give you a transcript from a masterclass that I took. And what we need to do is create a knowledge base document so that custom agents, whether they are Chat GPTs or they are Anthropic, it doesn't matter. It needs to work optimally with any type of large language model. What we need to create is a knowledge base document that allows that specific agent to be able to access the knowledge that was given by the expert giving the masterclass. In other words, I need this custom agent to act like the exact person would act that taught the masterclass. And I want to point something out real quick. Notice how I fumbled around with my words, and I don't think my video editor is going to edit that out. Hopefully he doesn't, because it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to get good at vibe coding and talking and letting AI know exactly what you want. And it's okay to repeat yourself. Let's just paste in the transcript, see what it does now. User has shared the transcript from the masterclass. Boom. Andrew Cruzy is the one that taught the masterclass. Here it goes. Look at this. Isn't this crazy? How long it had taken us to create this. So all we're going to do is, this looks good enough to me. So let's just go download. And when you're creating a knowledge base, always download it in markdown format. There we go. Let's come in to start a new project. And in start a new project, we're just going to name it. Let's just call it EM Closer V2 create project. So here we are in the project, and we want to add that knowledge base file right in here. So add files. Here it is. And that markdown document that we created is now uploaded into the knowledge base. Next, we just want to create a system prompt for this. So let's just go to a new chat. We're in O3. I took a masterclass with Andrew Cruzy and used the transcript to create a knowledge base document to help me with responding to DMs that I get from prospective clients. What I need now is I need to put in a system prompt to access that knowledge base. Can you please provide me with that prompt to put into that project file? Now, let's look at what it actually created in a text box here so that I can just copy. I could have probably done this in the same chat and it would know which we might take this and put it into that chat and say reference the knowledge base because it'll fix a few things. But it's coming up with voice and style, personalization and logic, and you just want to check these things that they're in compliance with what you would actually want. And then we're just going to pop this into the project file. Let's go ahead and copy. So the system prompt gives essentially the basic instructions for that project file. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put that system prompt into where we created the knowledge base and just let it know, like, this is going to be the system prompt. Now optimize that system prompt to be an 11 out of 10 to access this knowledge base from the masterclass. Now I want to give you a system prompt, a rough draft of a system prompt that I created in a separate chat. I want this system prompt to be optimized to access the knowledge base we just created. Make sure to be clear on the role and make sure to have an authentic voice. Don't use jargon and never make stuff up. Always follow what the knowledge base suggests in all of your responses. And just because we're recording, I'm kind of rushing through this, but it's okay to repeat yourself and it's okay to have just more than a 4 line paragraph here. You could have a huge discussion with it and it will actually condense all of that information and give you most likely a better output. Shift, return. Let's move this down and let's go the secret here, Control V. We're going to paste in that system prompt that we pulled from the other chat and let's see what it comes up with. Think this is pretty good. Voice style, concise, friendly, markdown. Ooh, all right. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but what it's doing here is this is something that it remembers from other projects that I've worked on is I always like clean links and this is markdown format right here. Wrap links in Markdown. What that means is it will never show like a crazy URL. It's going to put it in this format so that whatever's in those boxy brackets, that's the text that shows. And then whatever's behind it, that's going to actually be the link. Now, that doesn't work with SMSs, but it does work inside DMs like school or on the school platform. What we're going to do next is just copy this and then come into our project file, closer version 2, go to add instructions, and we are simply just going to paste that in. Make sure that it didn't copy anything extra. No, we'll change the title here. Oh, no, because it's going to access that as the knowledge base. We'll leave everything. Let's just save. Okay. So what I did is, so I don't share what somebody said, I just copied a DM from uh, a string that I have, and I'm just going to paste it in here to see what kind of response we can get. So I'll paste that in. So this is somebody that I was trying to get an offer you sent. I was thinking about getting on a clarity call. So here's somebody that's paralyzed in like inaction. So how do we move this person into action? Let's see what our DM closer would actually suggest we say here. So this is actually really crazy because this is a brand new project and it already knows that I've created other lead magnets that I've used in some of my other projects, one of them being an AI coach because it's linked here. And then another one here where it's a seat to be reserved for, let's say, a clarity call. So the agent found other information that were in my projects and instantly put them in. So if you provided inside your project file, let's say you had a lead magnet, you could provide that right here and it would say, here is, your shortcut. Try this lead magnet, whether that's maybe you're using PDFs. I personally use custom agents as lead magnets. They're also prompted after somebody asks a few questions, good questions, to recommend they get on a one-on-one call with me. And I'll share that with you and how I do that in another video. Uh, so it's giving 2 bullet points. That lead magnet, the AI clarity coach is going to help map an offer, their positioning, and give them a plan in less than 10 minutes. It gives you free list building angles without instantly, which is a email sending software. Next move is to book a clarity call and giving them a link to that. So this is what I would do is I would just simply cut and paste this, and I might remove that M dash and that M dash when I actually send it because no human knows where those are at on a keyboard. And I would just cut this out and then go back into wherever that platform's messaging was and send it back out to them after I proofread it. So what I want to show you guys is I have always had a bit of an issue of being a little bit, let's say, combative and not necessarily compassionate. And that has cost me deals. And so here is a text string, and you can see how long it is. It goes all the way back to February 24th, and today is August 6th. So this is a crazy long chat string. And instead of telling the person combatively, you just need to move into action. Like I want to jump through the screen and like, you know, choke them out essentially and shake them. Instead of saying something abrasive, I take the whole chat and I put it in there with a prompt saying, I would normally say this, make me sound, less combative. And here's what it came out with is it isolates like Jeremy Minor would, totally fair concern. That's not what I would normally say, but it's cushioning. Then it's isolating, right? So it's going from cushion to isolate to then a reframe to then an invite. Now, this is all seventh level stuff. This is all what the top performers do. Now I have a programmed agent to act just like somebody at seventh level, to act just like Jeremy Minor, so that I don't come across abrasive, so that I close more deals. And instead of getting caught up in my own head, I take a breath and now I let my coach, my project agent that I created, help me close the deal instead of trying to win the battle, but lose the war. And it's taken me from a 15% close rate to a 55% close rate. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to the channel. It helps it reach more people. And also comment below. Ask me questions about how you are considering using things like this to help you in your own business. And I could do a video and a tutorial on how to do that. This has helped me tremendously, and I hope it's going to help you close more deals as well.